perfect. So I would like to follow in his path.
These are both good angles. So,
because that's what I was wondering. I was wondering, bro, if you had a list and I was gonna put in some ideas, but then you already had a list, so I was like, ain't shit I could say. No. Once you come with something I ain't got, I didn't have a list, and I was expecting him not to, and he did. So I'm learning.
Here we go with artist Eric Brown, aka ESB Music. He's a local talent out here. You just want to tell him where you're from?
I'm originally from Arlington, Texas. Born in January 29, 1990. Not that you needed to know that. Birthday coming up, so if you want to, send, cash out funds, not really for, but just pretty much born in Arlington, Texas. Grew up playing music. Okay. Long story short,
Hey, for real, we need some money on the cash.
No.
What brought you to Manhattan?
All right, so okay. You want a long story or a short story?
Long story, man.
Long story. We
basically have the room for a while, so.
All right, so long story. I give you the medium story. So pretty much in 2013 is when I moved to Manhattan, Kansas. So basically, at the beginning of 2013, that's when my life pretty much began to transition. Pretty much January 1st. In that first week of January, God told me to leave my home church. I was like, what? So 2013, I was 23 years old. So I was 22 when he told me. So he told me to leave my home church. I was like, and I think that was my first time actually hearing God's voice that clear. And I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, what was going on? So basically what I did was that whole month of January, I just was praying. I was in my word. And if for anybody that want to just know how to hear the voice of God, oh man, I can't hear God's voice. What does that look like? Man, get in your word, because God's word is pretty much his voice. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, or long story longer. But so basically, I was like, man, okay, God, I want to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly. I want to make sure that I'm doing what you're saying, doing. I'm not just talking to myself. So I began to read the word, and I began to see things that was pretty much blatantly telling me, yes, it's time for you to go. And I think even at that time, it was bigger than what I was thinking at the moment. One of the scriptures that God was telling me, I think it's Genesis 11, I believe, where it talks about Abraham, God telling Abraham to leave his family and to go to a far off country. So the instructions that God gave me, he was like, hey, I need you to leave your church. And I said, God, if you want me to leave, where am I going to go? He said, don't worry about where you're going to go. Just do what I tell you to do, basically. I was like, bet. So then I began to read, and Abraham, he told Abraham the exact same thing. So I was like, okay. And then, so basically, I ended up, there was a church. I'm not going to mention the church because they're probably watching. but there's a church that God specifically told me not to go to. He was like, don't go to this church, but just follow me, don't go to this church. So anyway, I was playing at two churches at the time. So I played at my home church on Tuesdays and Sundays and Sunday nights. And then I played at this other church Saturday nights. So basically, I was supposed to be there, or Saturday. I was supposed to be there Saturday. I was late for whatever reason. I came in, my homie was there. It was Black History Month. So this was a whole month before.
2020?
No, this was 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, 2013. So this was a whole month of me praying or whatever. So I went, and I was late. They had an altar call. So basically, I went up to get prayer, and I was like, I don't remember what I went up to get prayer for, but when I went up there, he actually started telling me everything that I was praying about, or everything that God told me. I didn't tell anybody what I was praying. I didn't tell anybody what. Well, he did, yeah. The Holy Spirit and told me, you know what I'm saying?
Tomato.
Yeah, so he pretty much told me verbatim everything that God was telling me, everything that I was supposed to do, and some stuff that didn't even happen yet. That's actually happening now. So I was like, okay, all right. So one of the words he said, he like, if you need to leave your church, you need to go ahead and do it now. So I'm like, bet. So that Sunday morning, I went to my church. I'm like, I told my pastor, I'm like, hey, this is my last Sunday.
Yeah.
I was like, Alec. He's like, dang, just like that. So, and then I ended up joining this church. I wasn't supposed to join the church, but I ended up joining the church anyway, for whatever reason. Well, there was a reason. I'm not gonna say that part of the story, but I ended up joining the church, and later on, I ended up visiting. So my wife, who I'm married to now, she actually is from Fort Worth, Texas. And she moved here to go to K-State.
So both of y'all from Texas?
Yeah,
okay.
Both of us from Texas.
Did she come out here in 2013 as well?
I think she was here 2 or 3 years before.
Oh wow!
Before that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
wow.
we was actually dating when we dated for like 2 months or something like that. While she was in Texas, and then we were just like, we should just be friends. Like I didn't have no car, I couldn't really see her. All we doing talking on the phone. I was like, we should just be friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she ended up going to K-State, and then later on we started talking again. And then this year I was like, well, I'm gonna go visit her or whatever. And then I think I was probably already visiting. I think it was 2012. Yeah. So 2011, I think we was dating 2011. But don't get me on that time date.
Yeah.
No.
He might get in trouble up
there.
Yeah. All right.
Now yeah, there you go.
No, so we was dating, and I went to go visit her. And then I had a friend there. He was like, because I think I stayed down there for like a week, and then he was like, "Man, you probably gonna move up here." I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Probably not." So I went home, and then I really started praying. I'm like, "Man, you know what? I can see myself moving to Kansas just because I actually had more friends in Kansas than I had in Dallas."
Wow.
Because I was living, and when I say friends, I'm saying people that was actually going towards where I was trying to go.
Oh,
so
wow.
like people that's actually living a life like you were saying earlier. You was like, hey man, I got to get around some people that's gonna know, or that's gonna push me to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but when I was in Dallas, I was just going to work and going home and then going to church and then going home. Pretty much that was my whole life.
Yeah.
Basically, because the people around me, they was drinking, smoking, going to strip clubs and all that type of stuff. I was like, bro, I'm not really trying to do all that. Even at UPS, like when I didn't have a car, like every single night, because I rode the bus for like, I don't know, 2-3 years. Cause I worked there like 5 years, so like 2 to 3 of those years I was riding the bus every single night at the bus stop. I'm in the middle of the rotation.
Yeah.
Hey bro, you hitting? You hitting tonight? Every night. I'm like, bro, did y'all forget yesterday?
Yeah.
So I'm like, nah. But the people, I mean, they was my age. They was like really on fire for God, like going like hard, and it wasn't like. Because I will have people in Texas where they'll be like one way in church, and then when you get out of church, they cussing and I'm like, bro, what are y'all doing? And I'm not saying I was perfect either. Yeah. What I'm saying is, I'm just looking at all this. I'm like, but when I was here in Kansas, I'm like, oh, we're praying outside of church.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah, you good.
Can we get back on his sheet?
Oh no! We're gonna keep going. We're just gonna,
we're
gonna keep flowing.
You're good.
That's the format.
Yeah, but once there's
a good format.
Yeah,
you're good.
And then, you're good, man. Yeah, I got you.
No,
you're
good.
Keep going.
But long story short, man, like, so God, let me see. So I was praying. So I was on the phone with my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, which is my wife. Oh yeah. But so I was like, man, I think I'm gonna move up there. She thought I was playing. I was like, no, for real. I was like, I think I'm gonna go ahead and move up there. And then I prayed about it. Yeah, to Kansas.
Okay,
so I'm still in Texas at this time.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I prayed about it. So with this, I didn't want. So the foundation of my prayer, I didn't want to move up there or here just because of her.
Yeah.
Because if you look down in history. Like when you have these long distance relationships and then you move, and then once you get there, stuff changes, stuff hits the fan, and all that type of stuff. So I was like, God, all right, I love when you know, my wife Lanique, and then
It
I was
started
like,
off long distance.
It started off, we was together
was in the
first,
same
and then
area.
she
Yes,
moved,
sir.
and then it was
Yes,
long
sir.
distance
Okay.
then. And then so I was like, man, I love her, but I'm like, do you want me here regardless? I said, if I go here, if we don't work, do you still want me here? That was my prayer. I'm like, so, because if you would have told me no, I would never been here, regardless if you want to be coming out. That's what God was telling me, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and he said it was a go. So I ended up, even that whole process of coming up here. So I pretty much came up here with no
On the
job.
whim.
Yeah, so no
On the
job.
blessing.
I had $300.
It was meant to
no
be.
place
Yeah,
to
no,
stay.
it was meant to be.
Yeah,
I
so-
need more security than that.
Where were you staying when you came out here? Like,
So, all right, when I first got out here, I think I stayed with her and her roommate for like 2 days. And then my pastor now, he was like, hey, so where you staying at?
yeah.
Blessings.
I'm like, man, you know, I'm at Lanique's house. He was like, no, we probably want to move you somewhere else. We can't have y'all on the shop.
Blessings.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so I ended up staying with the bass player. He's not there anymore at the church, but I ended up staying with him for like maybe a month, and then we ended up, me and some roommates, we ended up getting a place actually right next door. Like, it was actually one house, but it was splitting. So we actually got a place right next door to him or whatever. So we stayed there for like a few months, and then we actually got another apartment after that. So I mean, man, even in that time, like credit got messed up. Like since I didn't have a job, I didn't have a job for like 3 months. So I had a steady job at
So
UPS.
you had a blessing.
Yeah, so I mean, it was still a blessing regardless. But
Yeah, no,
it was just-
but you had a blessing.
Yeah, it was looking ugly at the moment.
How were you like eating and everything? Like with $300 and no job for 3 months?
All right, so before I moved, I still can't find the scripture to this day. But when I was praying about moving up here, I actually in the scripture I read everything that the church was, and so one of those things was community, because like it was pretty much like, even the church now, it's still like a big family now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I didn't have to worry about eating. I didn't have to worry about like. Because there was like, I'll give you support off of my own back type stuff. So, and we was always together and all that. I mean, God provided for real. My mama was hot, like, because she had to pay, she had to pay that car note, and that's pretty much what messed my credit up. She was like, and even if you was to talk to her today, she would be saying like, man, I didn't know why you did it, because I didn't tell her that I was moving until the week of.
Because you had to grab them instead of tuck them.
And so the reason, so there was the reason behind me not even saying anything, because so at the first church, man, I'm trying to see if I should say this. So at the first church,
We'll edit whatever you don't
it's live now.
It's live, man.
It's live. But at the first church, something had happened where I ended up joining, which there's a reason behind why I ended up joining.
Was it a Masonic church?
Nah. No, I mean, it's not a bad church. Like they preach. They preach the word of God. I mean, But anyway, so there was a reason why. So because of what happened in that situation, and I ended up being in a place I wasn't supposed to be in, which I still could have left, but that was my fault. I just stayed. But so just because of that situation, I was like, yeah, I'm not telling anybody. And really, I was actually about to stay 2 weeks longer, because I'm like, bro, I don't have a place to stay. I don't have this or that. I don't have this. And then I already put my 2 weeks in. So, and UPS kind of messy, so everybody know everybody's business. So I was like, well, I might as well tell everybody now. And then that whole month or 2 weeks or whatever it was, people was just hassling conversation like, oh, bro, you're going to fail when you go up there. You and your girl ain't going to work. What's going to happen, bro? You're going to be right back at your mama's house. I was like, bro, come on.
Were these people in Manhattan? Or
these two people in Texas.
And just to let you know, that is normal people. People always going to say, you gonna fail. He know.
Exactly. So
he know.
And sometimes you can't
this
tell.
Young man, you can't tell nobody shit.
You can't tell everybody your
nobody
your
nothing.
dreams.
Exactly.
You
It's
can't
not for
tell
everybody.
nobody nothing.
You know what's crazy now is probably that a lot of those same people that are probably doubting you and saying this and that about you, you're probably in a way better position and happier than they are now. You know.
I mean, yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
it could be, but That's wild, man. Like, this is a side of you I never even, like, knew, you know. Because ever since I met you, man, you seem like, I mean, you still to this day, you seem like a humble guy. You're always cool to talk to. And I remember for, like, the first close to a year, man, we would always say what's up to each other, but we never knew each other's names.
Bro, and stuff I didn't know. I suck at that.
And stuff like that. So, man, that's amazing to hear, man. Like, if you weren't in Texas, what do you think you'd be doing?
If I weren't in Kansas, I'd probably be in Texas.
Like in the same town, same city, doing the same thing?
Well, I think it's purposeful that I'm here. Because, like, even I went back to Texas, and then I was actually in between jobs. And my grandmother, she had just passed. Oh, wow. Right? So I'm down there helping out my mom's or whatever. So I'm like making money while I'm down there doing Uber and Lyft and all that type of stuff. So I picked this dude up, and I picked him up from a college. Yeah. I'm like, okay, what you going to college for? He was like, oh, I'm going for audio production, this, that. I'm like, what? Oh, wow. I'm like, oh, what college is it? And he was telling me media tech. I'm like, bro, how long has school been there, bro? Yeah. I was like, well, are you serious? I'm like, bro, because if I would have known about that school, I probably would never came. Like, oh, wow. For real. I would never came. Because that was what my goal was as far as, like, to be producer and then be in music, record and all that type of stuff. So, yeah. Okay. So, like with somebody, I know that you mentioned God a lot. Like with somebody, a higher power to guide you through life, do you feel like it's been like less stressful and easier for you? Do you feel like you've always had somebody to guide you the right way to where you're not making mistakes that you probably seen other people that you've grown up with do? I would say I feel like it's still stressful.
Oh, you so okay?
I mean, but not to. But if I was to compare my life with someone that didn't know who God was and didn't know who Christ was, I would say I would have it easier just because I know who my foundation is. I know who saved my life. I know who a provider is, because God is everything that you need and that you can want. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So once you realize that, I don't want to say it's easier. I want to say
can I ask
you can go through it smoother. Yeah.
Do you, for people who feel like your foundation is your foundation?
So what does that mean?
It's nothing, that your belief is your belief. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think, but if it's like, I'm just talking from my perspective. Mm-hmm. This is not about me. This is his show, and it's about you. No. Yeah, this is my man Nappy's. Yeah. So I'm just trying to get some perspective on life I am being greedy for my personal interest. So do you feel that your belief is like definitive? Like it is? Am I condemned because I don't believe?
All right, here we go. I mean, I already knew this was coming. So if you, all right, just to keep it 100,
acknowledgement,
give it to you straight. If there is no belief in Christ, you're already condemned.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Already.
Yes.
So
it's acceptance, condemn.
Acceptance of what?
Of condemning. I don't know the proper term for it. Of condemnment. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so
thank you. Is acceptance really the term?
Acceptance.
If you accept your own belief. If you accept your own belief.
All right.
Not even saying if you accept your own belief and it's opposite from what someone else believes. Am I accepting is someone accepting, how you say it?
Condemnation.
Yes.
So, all right, check this out. So, basically, this is how God is set up. So, let me go back. I don't know if you
No, you're good, man.
All right.
Anything that you talk about, I'm cool with, man.
Okay, so if you want to go back,
because this is what it is right here.
Yeah. So, if you want to go back to the Old Testament, right? The whole purpose of the Old Testament of the Bible.
That's too deep. I was talking your belief. I wasn't talking about we're not gonna get to that. Let's get back to the music.
No, I got. Oh no,
no, because when you go back to the Old Testament versus New Testament, That's a whole nother conversation. We shouldn't even go there.
Hold on.
This is the second podcast.
I feel that.
No, all right,
I mean, you asked the question.
No, I got plenty of time. I got plenty of time. Let's do it after.
I was going to go there.
No, we not. We not. Can we? Because we supposed to be on music.
Oh no, we can talk about the whole upbringing, everything that led to it, and then those questions are gonna come like stopping points.
No, but I'm telling you, this right here, the formula. You got the formula, bro. I'm interjecting on some wrong shit. You got for real. Me and.
Hey, bro, you asked a question. I was trying to answer.
I fucked up. You got the formula, bro. You got it, bro.
Yeah, there's no limits on what's.
This what it is right here, because we supposed to be advertising monetary shit. Music is gonna make us monetary. Opinions is gonna help. It is gonna help now. It's gonna help.
I mean, but somebody might actually have that question out there that's looked up.
So it's gonna help. So no. Yeah, it's gonna help.
So you want me to answer it?
If you want to.
Yeah, man.
All right,
if he can allow it.
Everything.
All right, so if I was to answer the question, I'll say long story short, you said it was a different conversation, which it is.
It's the same conversation.
But the whole purpose of the Old Testament was to tell us why we needed God. Because we couldn't keep, so there's 613 laws in the Bible that they were supposed to keep, right? Every law. So you as a person, can you remember all 613 laws?
I can't even keep a million. As a person,
exactly.
I can't even but I can tell you this. I don't follow the 10 Commandments, but I have never broken them. Luckily in my life, I have never broken them. I have always made decisions in my life to live naturally. It wasn't because the young man came down the mountain with a book of tablets card. It's just naturally. I never broken none of the 10 Commandments. But any extra, if it was extra commandments, I might have.
All right, so what I'm saying
I might have fucked up a little bit.
So it tells us that we cannot, without Christ, there's no way we can follow all of those laws. Because they had to keep all the laws, they had to do the sacrifices, they had to get the goats, they had to pour the oil, they had to do all.
Christ gave us the will to not follow the laws and expected us to follow all the laws. He said, you shall have a choice to make the decision. I was about to go through, but I don't know what verse, what chapter. I was about to shoot some bullshit out to be funny.
All right, so Christ came to fulfill the law. So he didn't take away the law. He didn't break the law. He
didn't enforce it either. But he didn't enforce it.
He enforced it by fulfilling it.
By sacrificing himself.
Exactly.
He enforced it by sacrifice.
But check this out. So once you're in Christ, right? Mm-hmm. Or Christ came to fulfill the law. So, and what Christ taught was the first 2 commandments fulfills all 613 laws, all the laws of the prophets.
So I've been lucky to follow the first 2.
You said what?
I've been lucky to follow.
What's the first 2 commandments?
Whatever you say they were.
No, you got. If you said you're.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal.
No. So the first.
I don't know. I was shooting.
Asking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am asking. Okay. I shot the first 2 out that came to my head.
Okay.
After I asked. Yes, sir.
All right. So the first 2 commandments is love the Lord with all your heart and all your mind, all your soul, all your might.
Okay.
Right. And then the second commandment.
So I can sacrifice.
No. Check this out. The second commandment is to love thy neighbor as thyself.
But I can sacrifice though.
Why would you have to sacrifice?
Because that's not in the first 2 commandments. So what's the third?
So, all right, you gotta listen. You gotta listen. So the first 2 commandments fulfill every single. Do you know what fulfill means? I'm not asking like a question.
On the earthly level, not on the spiritual level.
No, this fulfills on the earthly level.
No. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know spiritual fulfillment.
Okay, check this out.
I'm telling you, I'm
I
know earthly though.
I'm listening.
Yeah,
So
no, I know
earthly.
So
these 2
I know
laws,
the basis.
Okay, these 2 laws fulfill So you got your love for God. So if you're loving God with all your heart, soul, and your
But where does
your
love
mind,
and self come in at?
all right,
Under God?
Check.
Love and self comes under God?
Why are you asking that question?
Because you are God.
No.
Because
once you love
I told
God,
my girl I was coming to talk my shit too.
yeah, you good. But once you love God and once you love
I did. Muscles, I did. I'm sorry.
No, you good though.
No.
But what I'm saying, once you know who God is, once you fall in love with Christ, or once you fall in love with Christ, and
He gave up Himself.
Right? He will show you Himself. Right? So
within
you. I think I can say that. Within
you. You said it.
So check this out.
You said it. You ain't got to think about it.
Okay, look. Hold on. So the second commandment is love thy neighbor as yourself.
Okay, so can I ask you this?
Okay.
Does your neighbor have to be the next person that lives to you, or can my neighbor be him?
My neighbor can be you. It can be you.
Can my neighbor be Naps?
Yeah. It can be.
Because he has the best intentions for me. So that is my neighbor.
But check it out.
Is neighbor your circle?
He doesn't have the best.
Is neighbor your circle? Then you should opt out to. That's where Jesus faltered.
Faltered?
Yeah, because it was 12. He should have kept it at 12. If he'd have been 12, he'd have been good. Yeah, no, right?
No.
So he extended himself too much.
Too much?
In my version, what I got from the story.
All right, so check this out. So
I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't know.
Okay, this is what I'm saying.
I'm taking perspective from. I'm on the outside looking in on everything. That's what I learned about life. All I have is my feelings. All I can control is my actions. That's it. And my beliefs is my beliefs. I can't change a person's beliefs. I have to,
correct.
Like Jesus. Some people call him Yeshua something. He's tomato. But I have to lead my shepherd. I have my sheep. I have to lead my sheep. If I am a shepherd, that's what I'm going to say. Tomato.
You said leave your sheep if you're a
I have to lead my sheep.
Lead your sheep.
Yes.
Okay. Who are your sheep?
Whoever follow.
Where are you going?
To the mountaintop.
What's the mountaintop?
I don't know yet.
So you're leading your sheep to a place,
a higher level, but the mountaintop might not be Mount Everest. Your mountaintop might be the heavens. So I can't say I'm leading you to your mountaintop. I might just be going to Mount Everest. I might not be going to the heavens where you are destined to be. But I could leave your ass right there on Mount Everest. Yeah, I'm good where I'm at. And you progress. And then you lead your sheep as the shepherd. And you bestow your wisdom upon others. And you spread your seed. You know how the Bible says, those shall go spread their seed forth as thou shalt taketh. Something like that.
You just made that up.
Do you have any siblings? Because I noticed that you
siblings.
Yeah, I noticed that you talked a lot about, like, you know, you were born in Arlington, Texas, and whatnot. But do you have any siblings, or are you the oldest?
Yes, I have 2 brothers and 3 sisters.
Are you the oldest, the youngest, or?
I'm the oldest of my mothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have an older sister. I think.
You the only one in music, or do they?
No. So my brother,
he speak in music also.
I actually told him about the school that I found out about while I'm in Kansas, in Texas. So I'm like, dang. I'm like, hey, bro, you should go to school. So he ended up going and graduated a year later. So he's actually.
Oh wow.
He's doing IO production. He got a studio at his house. And
is he in Texas now?
Yeah, he's in Texas.
Oh, okay, he's back in Dallas or Arlington?
Yep.
Okay. Because whenever I hear about Arlington, I automatically think about King of the Hill.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Seriously, Arlington gas and everything. So.
Touche.
But with that being said, man, why is music so important to you, and how did it come to you, and what do you incorporate in your own music?
Why is music important to me? So I think music. I'm trying not to think of another word. But the word I'm thinking about is conduit. You know, I like electricity. And it's a way to.
I mean, literally is, man. To be honest with you, the vibrations and everything, man, we pick up on that stuff, and the hertz, megahertz, and all that stuff, man. The more I become spiritual, the more I get into that stuff, man. I'm like, nothing is on accident, man. Like before, I mean, not to cut you off or anything, but like before, man, I used to like, I used to be so down on myself, man. But at the same time, I was motivated. At the same time, it was weird. I knew what I wanted, but I was just like, man, why is my life? I guess I was mad at the life that I was brought up in, man. I was just so angry. And now that I'm older, I realize, man, you go through certain things to make you tough. Some people, it weeds out the weak, man. And like, I sometimes get frustrated with my upbringing and everything, but man, I sometimes look at it like this. I was like, this prepared me for this, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, we'll save that for another episode.
But yeah, no, this is what I was hoping for me and you. That's why I cut you off at my house.
That'll be.
No, I'm letting you know on live. That's why I cut you off at my house. So I was hoping.
Yeah, we'll save that for us.
After all this, after we did, because I was just fucking with him. And I hate to say it like that about religion. Because to me, religion is like politics. I mean, it's something to see what other people think. It's to see how other people feel. That's to see how the background of other people. Because that's what religion and politics is stapled mostly for most people in background history. But what you talking about? I wanted to do. I really wanted to fuck with you on some shit, like outside of live, just talk, bro.
So yeah, man, my bad for interrupting you on that.
No, you good, bro.
So why is music so important to you? Like, what is it? And what you incorporate in everything?
So I actually, let me see how I can put this. I don't believe that I've actually grown fully into what I can produce through music. The reason being, I mean, especially in church, like, first of all, like if you want to look at gospel music and Christian music, it's not, if I want to keep it 100. So I don't know if maybe I should do my research on it, but right now I would say it's directed, the audience of Christian and gospel music is pretty much the church, is the Christians, which is cool, but at the same time, like, how do we get outside of the four walls, or how do we get outside of Christendom? If you want, you know what I'm saying? So like,
do you feel like
you said what?
You feel like just with that, do you feel like there's a certain label on it to where some people will be away from it when they hear Christian?
Well, I mean, it's already pretty much a label on it now, but it's some of the label is good, some of it is not so good, but I think as believers, if you profess to be a Christian, if you profess to like follow after God and follow after Christ, you know what I'm saying? Like, our whole being, everything that we do is supposed to be directed to Christ. Every single thing that we do, like if that's going to work, how can we glorify God? And that if we're working out, how can we glorify God? And at this podcast, how can I glorify God? So. And music is just one of those talents, is one of those gifts that God gave me to bring glory to Him. So everything that we do is to draw, or is for us to draw people closer to God, if you know Him. You know
exactly. I feel like, just like, he kind of said earlier, man, everybody, I honestly believe in higher power. Because there's no way that all this stuff was just by accident. That's the way I look at it, man. The older I get, I realize that, and like when we were talking, we're working out, our body is our temple. We got to take care of that. I've heard, it's so funny, man, how we met, and then Ty, and then Marvin, I met him years back, and my barber, all Christian. But it's not just the fact that they're Christian, it's the fact that, man, these are all people of God that have seen something in me, that have helped me go through things. And it makes you really realize, man, nothing is by accident.
Yeah, I mean, you helped me too. Like, you
helped me a lot. That means a lot.
I mean, I think about you often as far as, because I'm just at a time in my life where I need to get uncomfortable instead of being comfortable.
Man, that's a great quote, man. That's great, man.
But,
great first take. That's a great first take.
But I mean, it's because if you're comfortable, it's not a lot of growth.
Yeah, there's no growth. Yeah.
And like, and I'm thinking about like, well, of course God is like pulling me or inviting me to an uncomfortable place. so I can grow closer to him, so I can grow with him. But also I'm thinking about it from a practical way. So I'm like,
and that's just
I'm working out,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, how can I make it not so easy? Like it's like a mile or two,
exactly,
but 1.5 miles away from my house. I'm like, okay, maybe
I
could just walk.
Breaking out of the comfort zone is just like you leaving Texas to come to Manhattan.
Yeah.
You didn't know what to expect, and you might have went through some adversities, but look at you now, man.
Yeah.
You're married, you have kids, man. You seem to be in a great spirit all the time I see you, and it's just amazing, man. And with the music thing, I was gonna ask, man, do you believe that with music you could connect to people more easily, like a wide, broad span of people with music?
Oh yeah,
you know?
I actually I'm actually in school at Full Sail University, going to school for.
That's how I actually got that laptop. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
Easy.
Yeah.
Are you in school now?
No, man. We'll talk about that.
Oh,
later,
okay.
Basically, I don't agree with some of the stuff that they do, but it's an all right school, man.
So yeah, so
I met some good people through there, man.
Oh yeah,
I met some good people through like our interactive chats and our discussions that I'm still Facebook friends with now, and that's 6 years later. Still talk to them, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook. Great people, man. They're all motivated, man. And
pretty much. Like so, in one of my classes, I had to do this presentation about pretty much music. But one thing I said was that music is pretty much a language that everyone has, or I would say most, because there's people out there that actually don't listen to music. I met somebody that they just don't listen to music. They don't have a favorite song, don't listen to the radio. I was like, what? But I would say majority of people, like especially musicians, like you don't even have to, I can listen to, I'm like, okay, yeah, he dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we can automatically connect no matter what race, nationality, religion, whatever it is, but like music is that universal language.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Madonna said, music makes the people come together. And then there was another artist, I think it was Marvin Gaye, that had a song that was kind of like that, you know, it brings us all together. Bob Marley. And man, I believe that, man, because I hear a lot of artists, like I listen to a lot of podcasts and interviews, because I'm more into podcasts than listening to songs now, because I like to get more in depth, and I feel like when you listen to music, most of the time there's a persona, and like you might think that's like there's some rappers that I thought that were retarded. Honestly, man, the nicest way I can say it. Until you hear like Kanye, I love his podcast. I love his interviews. A lot of people might think he's cocky and everything. This guy's just highly confident in the things that he's doing. And I feel like with a podcast or an interview, I could get more in depth and like learn more than just listen to a song and that's it. Because that's basically entertainment. But man, I hear a lot of them say that people overseas enjoy music more than Americans. They respect it more, and some of them can't even understand the language. They just love it.
Man,
it's crazy. It's amazing, man.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And I know. With that being said, too, man. Now that do you think that music's influence could also affect a lot of people negatively, man? Since like with rap music and whatnot.
Yeah. I do believe that. It was just. I just remember this one song. This is just me, living in Christ. But have you seen The Wiz? Like Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, yep. That's the black version of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. So it's this song on there, and it's like super catchy. Like just like the phone groove on it was like, man, you can't win, you can't get out of the game, bro. When I say, bro, the bass line on there, I'm like, man, everything about this song is killing the game. You know what I'm saying? But when I was singing it, or just like playing it, and I was beginning to listen to the words, he's like, man, you can't keep speaking this. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, like you're almost speaking like you losing. You know what I'm saying? So like even that's stuff like, but that's just me.
No, I believe that because it's like it's affirmations and chants that you tell yourself. You keep telling yourself something. Like this is another thing I learned too. Is like, man, I'm obsessed with like the brain and like psychology, man. I think that's another reason why I like podcasts and talking to people. But if you continuously tell yourself that you can't do something or that you can do something, you're always going to prove yourself right and stuff like that. So that's why they need better. Like I wanted to ask you this about rap music because a lot of my I hate to say all my Christian friends, but a lot of my friends that were like Christian and stuff like that. One of my friends that I'm going to see after this actually is Marvin. I don't know if you know him, Marvin Springer. But he told me, this is back when I was in The Voice and younger. He was talking to all the guys from like, I was the only one in there from Manhattan. There were a bunch of people from KC, Topeka, Wichita, Lawrence, all these big cities that used to gangbang and everything. And he told us, he's like, rap music is what's influencing the younger people's mind.
The killing culture.
Yeah, and when I was younger, I was like, man, there's no way.
other industry where people are dying by the hands.
Yeah.
It's
and
no
music,
rock music.
And music has a lot of...
No one is killing each other.
Yeah, but there's some negativity
it's
with
weird.
that too. And I just
it's
feel like...
weird.
I just feel like that's what
it's
a lot of mainstream media is like pushing negativity on a lot of kids that's influencing them. Like you see the movies that we watch, and a lot of cartoons nowadays have a lot of stuff on there that your kids don't really understand. So
yeah,
and so they want to question that when they get older. So, but yeah, I just wanted to ask you that, man, because I know that I feel like music does influence in a good way or a right way, but it's the message that you send. So
yes,
man. I randomly, just to kind of keep up with what's going on as far as like what people are listening to. I randomly just go to like the top 100 songs on Apple Music, and just kind of go through them and just kind of like scan them. Like, bro, like what are we listening to right now? It's like especially this generation. I'm like, bruh, like it's even. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into that, but I'm just saying it's crazy. It's crazy what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy what's even going through their minds, and it's not like. But I can almost hear like a cry for help, even in the music. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's this Lil Wayne song. I can't even remember what the name of it is, but it was crazy deep because I was like, bro. But it was an old song. I think it was like off of Carter 4. Maybe. Okay. But crazy deep. I'm like, man.
But
no
I can
one
hear
has
like individuality nowadays for me. Like no one has individuality. I hear a few people that I enjoy. That's mainstream. Anybody else I enjoy has not really been heard yet.
Oh yeah.
And that is because it's my flavor. So my flavor is not for everyone. Mm-hmm. But like you was saying, I don't know if this is the point you was getting, but this is what I took. Mm-hmm. Things are getting promoted that with the music wise, it's not positive, it's not uplifting, it's not.
In certain genres, to be honest, I feel like with music nowadays, I feel like this is one thing I realized, man. I used to have over 100 channels I was subscribed to on YouTube, and then I had to cut down because a lot of it was negative, man. Like Lil Wayne was one of them that I cut out. YG I cut out, and it's like, why is it that the rappers that talk about the most negative stuff that the average person that's not a rapper or in a position to have a great platform and influence, these negative people are the ones that are the most known rappers, but the ones that are actually speaking great stuff, like they're not being publicized as much as the other artists and stuff.
Because they don't make money. I mean, that's
exactly
long story short.
Yeah.
Because basically, all right, so the Bible says, all right, let's get this right, because I see a lot of people quote this. They say money is the root of all evil, when money is not the root of all evil, but the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
So and that's almost the opposite of loving God. You know what I'm saying? So, because money can if you know how to use it right, you can get whatever you want.
Exactly.
You can buy everything you want. You can, whatever you need, you can change somebody's mind with $100,000.
Yeah.
Like you can get somebody to do something that they would never even think about twice doing in their life. But if you give them, hey bro, I'll give you $2 million right now if you do that immediately.
They go against it changes their integrity, their morals, everything. And I know that with that being said, man, what do you like? I mean, I don't know. That might be a whole different subject, man. But okay, what are your goals musically? Like, what do you want to do with it? Like, do you plan on taking it like broad stream, or is it a hobby for you? Is it therapeutic? Like,
I think right now in the time that I'm in, I want to say it's therapeutic. Where I'm trying to go is be a producer. Pretty much producer. I might come out with a couple albums, depending on what God really want me to do. But I was actually just talking about this to my homeboy. But like, my goal is just to be pretty much in the background, produce. You know, because I think I could bring out the best in people. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So like, as far as artists, I don't even listen to rap like that, but I know a rapper when I hear one. You know what I'm saying?
So
like, yeah.
Man, you're gonna have to hear our stuff then. You're gonna have to really critique us. And but like, so what specifically did you say you were going to Full Sail University for? Is it audio production?
Yeah,
or
audio
music
production.
See, that's what I started, and then I found out it was something completely different. And then I tried to switch over to music production. Then they tried to say I had to pay $4,000 before I could. I was like, man, I'm not dropping out. I'm switching over. Man, we already know your style of music is. Would you say Christian music?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you write music or do you just perform it?
I write a little bit. I'm actually gonna start writing more.
Okay.
But yeah, I got a few songs. They're actually not out.
Okay.
Can I ask you this?
What is that?
Are you? I don't know if I'm using the right word. Susceptible. It's not the right word.
Yeah.
It's not.
Are
Are
you
you
good?
acceptable
Uh-huh.
to singing other genres of music, just to get your voice heard? And when you think about this, when you make music towards a song, it can just be your thoughts, your feelings. It don't even gotta be what the song is about. Can you be comfortable with producing yourself no matter what type of music is being made? Because that's, to me, that's what matters. You have to be able to Andre 3000 shit. Yeah, no,
So,
other than that, it's not worth it. If you feel you got to be comfortable with some shit, if you feel you got to adapt, which, with quotation marks, from my knowledge in life, you do have to adapt. Yes. But with music, with your art.
So, me personally, all right. So, just to answer your question, I can if I choose to. Like I think, especially growing up in church, we play pretty much everything in church. Like if we play Latin, we play.
Is some of it like a parody though as well? Or
What do you mean?
Like whenever like there's some songs say there's a Cardi B song, but then they switch it over the lyrics and everything and make it like a church song. Is it mainly a parody?
No.
No,
Latin
what I'm
music,
saying.
with like music
Well,
like Latin,
that,
it's a bunch of instruments.
Well, okay. Oh,
So
just
it's
the instruments?
easier.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's easier to play in church.
Well, I'm saying as far as genre, we wouldn't. Now growing up, because I wasn't listening to Tupac when I was growing up, but when I was growing up, like we had a musician where he would play Tupac in the middle of the service, like. But I didn't know until I started.
Have you been to colleges? Black HBCUs play Outkast. That's the only reason why I referenced 3000. They play shit on the horns and the bugles and the drums.
Yeah.
Like HBCUs.
Yeah.
And you can go to a game and you can actually hear like a cast tune.
I mean, it just depends. Like, I don't think as far as my main goal,
because of how they do.
I don't think
because of
that
the music
will.
they produce.
I wouldn't even say that. I don't think that's just my lane. I don't think that's my lane. That's just a me thing. I have friends that as Christians, their main audience is to that secular audience. But I don't think that's all right, let me rephrase that. That is my thing, but I'm gonna do it in my avenue.
That's what I was asking. No, that's what I was asking.
What influence? Like, what helps you? Oh my bad. What helps you come up with what's your process of coming up with like lyrics or whatever you do? Are you like driving, or are you like in church and you're like, oh, this sounds good if I did that?
Sometimes, most recently, I'll just sit down and like, I want to write a song, basically. Then I'll think about what God is telling me in the moment. Or sometimes it'll come to me during prayer.
Okay.
Like, I'll be at work, or when I was working at Foot Locker, because we can have headphones and everything in there, so we cool. Like, I ain't got to talk to nobody, just have my headphones in. We working 10+ hour days.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm in there praying all day, right? Or at least if I try to pray all day. And then I'm like, okay, this is what God is saying in this moment. So I'm like, okay, I'll just start trying to write that out. But sometimes I go just straight to the Bible. Okay, boom, boom, like songs.
Okay.
It's just a book of songs,
Yeah.
pretty much. So I'm like, okay, let's see what we can create out of this. You know?
So how many songs do you think you have written?
I don't know, probably about 7 or 8.
And how many are recorded?
I think 1, and it's half recorded.
Hey,
But actually, no, I got a few. I got a few more recorded. They just on my other hard drive. I haven't even heard of it.
Are you like a perfectionist when it comes to it? So you got like, oh, this has to sound right. I want to go back and do that, or
it depends on the setting. So I'm actually going when I get my equipment this week. I'm actually going to start like
The launch
hard.
This week.
Yeah, this week. Yeah,
Okay.
This week I'm gonna actually start going hard as far as writing goes. I might put something out next year, but yeah, perfectionist. Yes, like I was actually working on this project for someone. It was a Christmas project or whatever, and then the song. I'm like, I had to record the same part over like 200 times, probably. That's not an exaggeration, because I'm like, it has to be on, and sometimes that wastes time. But
when you're a perfectionist, you're a perfectionist.
Yeah.
I am. Yes.
I know. Man, who's your favorite artist, and who do you idolize, and who influences you the most when it comes to your music?
Influence, I would say, as a producer, Aaron Lindsay. Now he's pretty much produced for everybody, but mainly he's a gospel producer, or he's a musician first, but he actually just came out with a Christmas album. I know he just did some stuff with India.Arie, and he wrote for her also. But as far as producer, he cold. Like artist wise, I think I want to say Brandy and
you talking about Brandy and the one that used to do songs with she just did it in the verses.
Moesha.
Monica.
Yeah.
You talking about Moesha?
She just did the verses.
Right.
Brandy
Baby
and
Mo. Baby Mo.
Why can I not think of Jasmine Sullivan?
Okay.
R.I.P.
Dope,
to the
like, as
whole
far as
world
vocals
that
goes, Usher, he cold.
So you like mainstream R&B more than anything, like?
I would say that.
Okay.
If
Well, I'm
I-
gonna hit you with some speed questions. Real quick, man. If
speed
you don't-
questions.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
All right, let's go.
Okay. All right. First album you bought, and how old were you?
I was trying to put the speed on it. Yeah, it is no rush.
First album I bought, and how old was I? I think, man. All right, so
Good question.
that was a good question. So first album, I'm just gonna say,
That wasn't.
What You Looking For? That was a Kirk Franklin album.
Kirk Franklin? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how old I was.
Okay.
I don't know how old I was when I bought that.
What would it take for you to go out of your way to buy a CD today? Nowadays, everything's live streaming. But if there was a really great artist, what would it have to take for you to buy that album?
What would it take? It'll have to be a really dope artist. Like, if Kendrick and J. Cole came out with something, I'd probably go buy that. If Kendrick and J. Cole came
That don't
out,
count.
I probably would buy
That's
that.
a miracle.
They've been supposed to
that don't count.
collab for me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
a
back in like
miracle. No, they
2014,
wasn't
I think.
supposed to. We was all hoping that they would.
So,
I was expectations does not count.
Do album sales define how great an artist is to you? Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay. What would be the name of your album and why? Another great one.
That's a good question. No, that's a good
The
question.
name of my album and why? Okay. Dang, I got a lot to say on that.
I would name your album. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I'm joking.
Man, bro, that was a hard question. I wish I would have thought about that before.
The Holy Spirit.
I wouldn't even name it that.
I
It
would
be
just for production purposes, for people to like buy into the shit, like what you represent. For people to buy into what you represent, I would name it something holy. Just me.
Man, okay.
So I can make as much money as possible.
Something that we'll be talking about. Man, 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 that's a good question.
I mean, we
I'm
can always
think about
do-
this when I get home.
Okay, all right.
But, so
Next
I would
week.
say something that will be like, like those trophies. I'm just now thinking about this. I never thought about this until you asked me this. But those trophies, like the glass trophies.
I think so.
And then I'll put something like maybe a camera through it, or just something that's see-through. That's like a statue that's see-through.
Okay.
And that would probably be like the album cover, because I think in this season, because I was thinking about this earlier, like in the year,
Cover.
Yeah.
but because if my first album came back, I wanted to. It'll probably be for Christians, for real. That would probably be my audience, but because a lot of people don't really know God like they say they do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like they really don't. And what's crazy is people really don't know God like they say they do.
Yeah.
And then they be living, and they think going to church is cool. They think singing on the praise and worship team is cool. They think all these things is cool, and they still miss it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they still on their way to hell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the Bible talks about having a form of godliness and then denying the power of God. So you can look like, people looking like, oh man, I go to church, blah 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 blah, but their heart is full of wicked,
exactly.
full of sin. And, I mean, I think that's where my first album would probably go to. That's a crazy question, bro. That's a good question.
Hey, I got some more questions, but I want to do a part 2 with you if you don't mind.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that because she gave us a little extra time, but I thought.
Are we done already?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I thought.
This was a good podcast.
Yeah, but no, seriously, I really want to finish this because it was
bro.
getting good even off of the paper. Like it was getting good.
No one else.
I like
is
having
doing
conversations.
this. No one else is
most
doing
definitely.
this.
So
no one else is doing this.
So what
This
we're gonna
is
do?
great on you, bro.
appreciate it. Hey, it's the guest. It's
No,
the guest.
but you too,
But,
because you're the root. You're
So,
the roots. Like the tree gotta grow.
Yeah. So I got. Man,
Yeah, no, the
these
tree
questions
gotta grow,
are-
bro.
So what are you? We'll talk about that off camera. I got some,
okay,
but
okay.
we're gonna definitely do a part 2. So, and I'm gonna try to schedule some more time, but.
Yeah.
That'll be it for this one. So that's Eric Brown, ESB Music. Follow him on Instagram. You got any more sites? You have YouTube?
YouTube,
Okay.
ESB Music. So ESB Music, MUSIC, and 2 I's.
Okay.
Instagram handle is E.S.B. Music. That's a lot of periods. Period and 2 I's again. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for being a guest. We're definitely going to do a part 2.
Yeah,
We
appreciate
did
you
great.
having me,
So
bro.
yeah. Thank you, Reggie, for showing up. Thank you, Eric. So this is the Above the Ground.
Make sure you buy my boy book, man.
Hey.
You know what we got here. Keep telling
Yourself that, yeah.
it looks
No,
like
you.
full of quotes, yeah.
So
Keep
yeah, we're out here.
You
So,
self.
I appreciate
The R
everybody
is
that's watching,
silent.
and we're definitely
I
going to
was
do a part
just
2.
like, you know,
So thank
the
you.
R is silent. Keep telling you self. It's not